Welcome to the Deep Dive. We often talk about the technologies that grab headlines, but sometimes the really fascinating stories, the big growth, happens in these quieter foundational markets. And today, we're diving into exactly one of those, the global ion pumps market. Now, ion pumps might sound, super technical, maybe something out of a lab, and you'd be right. They are these specialized devices, really crucial for creating and maintaining what's called ultra-high vacuum. We're talking conditions far, far emptier than space. And these vacuums, they're essential for, well, a surprising number of things. High-tech manufacturing, semiconductors, advanced materials research, even things like medical diagnostics, particle accelerators. So our mission today, our deep dive, is really to get a handle on the momentum in this market. Look at its value now, where it's headed, and how different parts of the world are playing into this growth. We want to give you the insights, not just the numbers, but what they actually signal about, well, the future of tech. Okay, so let's start big picture, global overview.
Our sources are showing the market for ion pumps was valued just shy of $1 billion US back in 2021, about $938 million. Looking ahead a bit, by 2025 is forecast to hit, $1.32 billion. Pretty impressive. But here's where it gets really interesting. The longer-term view. Out to 2033, this market is expected to more than double. We're talking over 2.6 billion US dollars. That works out to a global compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of nearly 9%, 8.931% to be exact. Now, more than doubling in just over a decade. That's a pretty strong statement for any market, isn't it? What's that tell us about the industries that actually need this tech?
Yeah, that's exactly right. An almost 9% CAGR globally. It's not just a random number. It's a very clear signal. It tells us that the world's most sort of cutting-edge industries are scaling up and fast. Think about it. Massive global investment in advanced chip making, right? Where those pristine vacuum conditions are just non-negotiable. Or, the growing demand for really sophisticated medical tools like electron microscopes. They need these ultra-clean environments too. Ion pumps are, well, they're foundational for that. Creating those ultra-pure vacuum conditions these technologies need just to work, let alone innovate. So yeah, this consistent growth, it means those high-tech sectors are really accelerating everywhere, and they need more and more of these quiet workhorses to make it happen.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just selling more pumps. It's like building the infrastructure for future innovation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dig into the regions then. Starting with North America. It's been a strong, established player here for a while, so North America. The market there is also set to more than double. From around $256 million in 21 up to over $665 million by 2033. That's a solid CAGR, about 8.3%. What's interesting, though, is digging into that a bit. Even in this mature region, Canada's growth rate, almost 9%, is actually a bit faster than the U.S., which is around 8.15%. And Mexico showing strong growth, too, 8.44% CAGR.
It is interesting, and what's fascinating is, while the U.S. is obviously the giant in terms of sheer market size,
Right.
Canada's slightly higher PAGR might suggest maybe rapid expansion in specific areas, perhaps specialized research or certain advanced manufacturing niches where they're really investing. It points to, like you said, broad adoption across the whole region, not just stuck in one place. And that strong, steady growth in a developed area like North America just underlines how critical this ultra-high vacuum tech is becoming, increasingly critical.
Okay, so from North America, let's hop across the Atlantic, Europe. How does that compare?
Yeah.
It's a mix there, right? Mature industries, but also growing research hubs.
Yeah, Europe's landscape is definitely diverse. Overall, though, it's pretty much in line with the global average growth. The market there was about $227 million back in 2021, expected to hit over $600 million by 2033. That's a healthy 8.5% CAGR, so significant, consistent expansion across the continent.
Okay, and within Europe, who's really pushing that growth? Any surprises or standouts?
Well, Germany is definitely leading the pack. It's showing the highest CAGR in Europe, actually, over 9.2%, which, really reflects its strong industrial base. Big investments in R&D, especially in things like advanced manufacturing, scientific instruments.
Makes sense.
The UK is also very strong, 8.86% CAGR, and you see good, solid activity in Spain, Sweden as well. One thing that is noticeable, though, is Russia, showing a comparatively slower CAGR, just over 7%.
That is a difference.
Yeah.
Why might Germany be doing so well? And conversely, what could be contributing to Russia's slower pace in this, niche but important market?
That's a really important question, actually. Germany's lead, it's likely tied to its big export-focused manufacturing, high-precision engineering, optics, automotive, that sort of thing. They're consistently putting money into state-of-the-art facilities, and those demand ultra-high vacuum.
Right.
Russia's slower growth. Could be several things mixing together, maybe less focus on expanding high-tech manufacturing right now, or possibly, geopolitical factors impacting tech acquisition, industrial partnerships. It definitely highlights how regional economics and external stuff can really shape growth, even in these very specialized foundational markets.
Okay, now, this is where the story really seems to pick up speed, globally speaking. Let's shift to the Asia-Pacific region. Our sources point to this as the real powerhouse for ion pump growth.
Absolutely. Asia Pacific, the market there was around $328 million in 2021, but the projection, it's set to soar an incredible $987 million, nearly $1 billion, by 2033. And that means it has the highest regional KGR globally, a huge 9.6%, almost 9.7 actually. What's really captivating here is just the sheer scale of it and the speed. It signals this massive build-out of high-tech infrastructure across the region.
That is explosive. So which countries are really driving that, and what's fueling it? Is it just manufacturing?
Well, China is a massive piece of it, of course. Projected to grow from about $110 million in 21 to over $339 million by 33. That's a powerful 9.8% CAGR. They're just building out manufacturing capacity like crazy, right?
Yeah.
Semiconductors, advanced materials,
Yeah.
all needing these vacuum environments.
Uh-huh.
But the real standout, and actually the fastest growing single market anywhere in the world, is India. It's showing an exceptional double-digit CAGR, over 10.6%, expected to jump from $40 million to over $134 million by 2033.
Wow, over 10% KGR for India. That is really something.
Mm.
What's behind that kind of acceleration? Specific industries, government push.
That double-digit number for India is very, very telling. You've got huge government initiatives like Make in India, pushing domestic manufacturing, plus significant foreign investment pouring into sectors that really lean heavily on ultra-high vacuum tech, things like electronics, pharmaceuticals, specialized chemicals. It suggests they're rapidly scaling up their scientific and industrial base, really catching up and expanding that foundational infrastructure quickly. And it's not just India and China. Southeast Asia as a whole shows incredible momentum too, a 10.16% CAGR. Singapore's another high flyer, over 10% CAGR as well. So yeah, this region, unquestionably the main engine for global growth in ion pumps right now, really shows a major shift in where high-tech production and research are taking root.
Okay, so Asia Pacific is clearly leading the charge, the engine, as you said, but we shouldn't ignore the growth happening elsewhere, right? And what we might call the emerging markets, there's significant potential there too. Let's look at South America first. The overall market there is forecast to nearly triple, from just under $48 million in 21 to over $139 million by 33. That's a healthy 9.3% CAGR. And within the region, Argentina seems to be leading with an impressive 9.86% CAGR. Chile's right behind, also showing really robust growth, 9.5% CAGR. Brazil, Colombia is strong too.
Yeah, those numbers are quite promising, aren't they? It definitely points towards increasing industrialization, more scientific investment in South America, reflects a kind of broader commitment maybe to building up more advanced manufacturing capabilities that need that precision, that high-tech infrastructure.
Absolutely. Okay, then moving over to the Middle East, how's that region fitting into the global picture?
The Middle East looks like a region focused on, let's say, strategic growth in this area. Their overall market is projected to grow from just over $40 million in 2021 up to nearly $116 million by 2033. That's a strong CAG of 9.15%. The UAE really stands out there, 9.7% CAGR, expecting quite significant expansion. Turkey's not far behind either, about 9.6%. Saudi Arabia, Egypt also showing very strong growth prospects. It suggests, targeted investments across diverse sectors, maybe advanced materials, energy research, specialized manufacturing cropping up across the region.
Interesting. Okay, and finally, let's touch on Africa, a continent with, huge potential, starting to make its presence felt in these high-tech areas.
Yeah, Africa. The market there is projected to expand from almost $38.5 million in 21 to over $109 million by 2033. That's a respectable CAGR, 8.56%. South Africa seems to be leading the continent, showing a strong 9.25% CAGR. And Nigeria is also growing quite healthily, around 8.8%. So if we kind of pull back and look at all these regions, South America, Middle East, Africa collectively, they show really powerful long-term growth prospects. Yes, their current market sizes they're smaller than North America or Europe, obviously.
Right.
But their growth rates are often right up there, sometimes even higher. It signals increasing industrialization, more science investment, and definitely a move towards more advanced manufacturing capabilities.
Okay, so we've crunched the numbers, looked across the globe. After this whole deep dive, let's bring it back. What does this all mean for you, the listener? Why should we care about something that sounds so specialized like ion pumps? What's the big takeaway here?
That really is the essential question, isn't it? Why does this matter? Well, this consistent, accelerating global demand for ion pumps. It's a really profound indicator. It shows where the world's actual scientific and industrial investment is flowing. Like we talked about, these devices are absolutely critical for creating those ultra-high vacuum environments. And those environments are essential for everything, making the chips in your phone, your computer, developing new materials for aerospace, advancing medical diagnostics, even fundamental physics research. The growth we're seeing isn't just, market size going up. It's a direct barometer for innovation, for the scaling up of high-tech industries all around the world. Every single percentage point of that CAGR reflects a deeper commitment to precision, to purity, to the kind of cutting-edge technology that will ultimately reshape how we live.
And that nicely wraps up our deep dive into the global ion pumps market. Quite a journey uncovering this projection for it to more than double by 2033, hitting over $2.6 billion. We saw that powerhouse growth in Asia Pacific, especially India, Southeast Asia, China, but also really significant, steady contributions from North America and Europe. And those robust emerging markets too, in South America, the Middle East, and Africa, all showing strong potential. So for our final provocative thought today, think about the sheer range of industries, the cutting-edge research that depends on these ultra-high vacuum environments. If the market for these, almost invisible components is really set to more than double in the next decade, what kind of new scientific breakthroughs might we see by 2033? What industrial efficiencies? What completely new technologies? Think about advancements in medicine, computing, maybe space exploration, even just the materials you interact with every day. What could be made possible by this quiet but rapidly expanding foundational market? What future will you encounter that was built in part on the back of a better vacuum?